Hi, welcome to the session on the International Standards in Mentoring Coaching Programmes. I'm Julie Haddock-Millar and I'll be the facilitator today. So just to outline the session, we're going to first of all look at the international standards and just to familiarise ourselves with each of the core standards. Look at some of the latest developments in mentoring coaching programmes, and then very much invite you to consider further dialogue in how we can support mentoring and coaching programme managers and key stakeholders to really recognise and accredit good practice in programme management. So the International Standards in Mentoring Coaching Programme Framework was developed in 2016-17 and piloted with Médecins Sans Frontières, who have recently renewed their accreditation for a further 3 years. And the standards were to recognise good practice in programme design, development, implementation and evaluation for either programmes delivered internally or externally, and to really identify those programmes that are thoughtfully designed, systematically managed, and significantly contribute to the development of the participants on the programme, the strategic drivers of the organisation, and perhaps the wider stakeholder objectives. Now, the team developed 6 core standards around the clarity of purpose of the programme, the stakeholder training and briefing, not just the participants themselves, the mentors, mentees, or coaches and coachees, but the wider stakeholders as well, the selection and matching of participants, the processes in place for the measurement and review of the programme, the standard of ethics and care that is given to the participants, and the administration support, including, of course, resourcing effectively programmes and ensuring that there's sufficient budget to ensure the sustainability of any programme. So we'll have a look at each of these in turn and just review and familiarise ourselves with each of them. So in relation to clarity of purpose, this very much is around the aims, the purpose, the objectives being clear to all. So that's the participants and the key stakeholders, identifying the potential outcomes of the programme, and then being able to measure and evaluate further down the line, but on an ongoing basis. And that participants are encouraged to identify their own purpose and objectives within the context and the framework of the programme. So the alignment within the organisational purpose, but also that flexibility within the relationships themselves to really explore purpose and what's right for each of those participants. The second area, training and briefing, very much aligning to the quality award for mentors, coaches, supervisors, and now, of course, team coaches with the latest development, really to understand the concept of mentoring and coaching within the respective roles, and that participants have the opportunity to develop their knowledge, their skills, and their behaviours so that they can feel safe, comfortable, confident in their role to support their mentees and coachees, that ongoing support is available throughout the programme and that it isn't simply at the beginning by way of induction, but there is that focus on the ongoing training and development and support for participants, and that the training and the briefing, the orientation, the induction takes into account the context and the purpose for the programme, balancing the need for skills and knowledge, but flexibility in terms of the manner and the timing of the delivery of the training. And then the process for selection and matching. The selection and matching is always something that programme managers will often find a challenge in some ways to find the ideal match. I mean, arguably, there may not ever be an ideal match, but the best match possible for the participants on the programme, and to support them through that initial selection and matching stage to ensure that proper processes and procedures are in place. And then the ongoing measurement and review. So using a portfolio of ways of measuring and reviewing the programme, the value, the contribution that the programme has to the participants in the organisation, really demonstrating that value for the resources that are inputted into the programme. And then the standard of ethics. So ensuring that people are clear about their roles and responsibilities, not just the participants, but the stakeholders themselves, the steering group, the committee, for example, the trainers, the coordinators, the programme manager, and ensuring that there's a process for managing a conflict of interest, for example, or risks. And then administration and support. So programmes are typically supported by a programme team, however small. In some cases, a programme team can be very large, depending on the nature of the programme, the spread of the programme, whether it's a global programme or a local small programme, but a programme team nevertheless. So whether that's an administrator, a trainer, a programme manager, a coordinator, an evaluator, the whole range of different roles and remits within the context of the programme. Now, in relation to those 6 core standards, we're always on an ongoing basis developing and supporting practice in programme management. Of course, there are always new developments in mentoring coaching programmes, not least over the last 2 years, we've seen the development of team coaching programmes and the recognition of team coaches and the contribution they make, both within organisations and much broader in the development of teams and team dynamics. But we'll be very interested in continuing the dialogue with each of you and exploring some of these latest trends and how we can, as a professional body, continue to support mentoring and coaching programme managers and key stakeholders in the development and implementation and evaluation of programmes, and continue to raise the profile and contribution of the vital role of mentoring and coaching programme managers in the context of mentoring and coaching. And we're very keen to continue the ongoing dialogue following the conference and these sessions to continue to explore how we can further support. So to recap, the EMCC Global International Standards in Mentoring and Coaching Programmes are really vital in raising the standards and the awareness of the importance of programme management and thoughtful, well-designed programmes. The standards, hopefully those 6 core standards, ably support our programme managers and key stakeholders in developing programmes. There are so many developments in mentoring coaching programmes, but we're really keen to support those in ongoing dialogue and discuss and identify how we can further support not just programme managers, but key stakeholders to recognise and accredit good practice. So thank you for engaging with the session and listening to this.